Happy Friday. So totally chaotic scene behind me going on right now. I'm in the middle of just rearranging my studio space right now. I'm reorganizing just the way I kind of keep all of my supplies and the way that I want to set up how I actually like work on my projects and work on these videos. And so everything is kind of just in flux right now. So that's why we have this shot that you're looking at right now. Oh, I should also mention my hands totally pink right now. I just dyed Easter eggs with my mom. You'll see that video next week for Easter. So you're gonna be seeing a lot of my hands in today's video. Just ignore it, I swear. It's pink in some shots. Like down here, it might look red. I really hope that that doesn't give anybody the heebie-jeebies. It's not red, my fingers are not bloody, I'm not injured, it's just egg dye. And yeah, it's food coloring, so now that that's out of the way. So today's video, oh, is this a little much? I'm still trying to work out the lighting of everything too, with all this stuff in flux. I don't even know if this will work. If this video is very poorly lit, if it looks terrible, I'm so sorry. But anywho, so today's video is the Coliro watercolor review. So yep, I have these Coliro metallic watercolors. We will pop that right there. Look at these. I got the pearl colors set, gold and silver. There's a bunch of different sets that they have. I wanted to try these ones first because these are the colors that I use primarily in my paintings when I use my acrylic inks. And if I could find a way to combine my love of metallic inks and watercolors, I'm all for it. So I hope that these will be a game changer. I haven't even opened them yet, so let's open them together. So let's see. First off, it's made in Germany. I believe that's the Coliro brand. If you want the American version of it, I believe that's Finetech. But I'm pretty sure Finetech and Coliro are the same brand. I believe they're the same parent company, just one is for Europe and one is for the US. And in my research, Coliro is a lot more affordable than Finetech. Finetech was much more expensive and can be found in fine art supply stores here in the US, while Coliro you could only buy online. So I did buy these online because even with like shipping and everything, it was cheaper than buying it here at my local art supply store. So yes, so I believe there shouldn't be, if you're in the market to buy these, I believe that there's not much of a difference between Coliro and Finetech as far as the actual product itself. Pearl colors are slightly curved on the bottom. This can lead to a hole appearing in the middle of the pot with extended usage. This is not a defect, but a natural occurrence. That is something that I've seen with any watercolor that kind of goes in a pan like this or a cake. Whether it's my Paul Rubens, which are in those little squares that you usually see, or in those really cheap chalky ones that I used to use from the craft store that were also in this circular. That's just the way they pack the paint. Any kind of paint that's like that, it's gonna do that. So in my experience, that's not a reflection on, you know, the quality of the product. That's just how it works. So it says here that you're supposed to drop water on it, let it sit for 3 minutes, and then use it for it to become its full vibrancy. See, it says that right there. Yeah, I believe that because that's usually what I have to do for all my watercolors is I always activate them first. So let's open them. What is the best way to open these? The box is a little bent up. That's just from shipping. But that's just the cardboard outside, so who really cares? All right, ooh. Okay. So we've got our little plastic case here. I saw some reviews that were complaining about the case being plastic
as opposed to like my Paul Rubens that come in a tin. Some people complained about that, you know, this is metal, it's more durable, it's easier to carry, and these are a little bit more fragile and cheaply made.
I don't care if my paints come in plastic or in tin because I don't really take them out of this room. So the durability of the packaging doesn't really affect me, but I mean, to each their own, I guess.
Okay. So the colors that come in the gold and silver set are Tibet gold, Inca gold, Arabic gold, gold pearl, moon gold, and sterling silver. I would say Arabic gold is the closest to the acrylic ink that I usually use. Let me see, just for a little comparison here. Mine is iridescent bright gold, and to me it looks the closest to Arabic gold, or maybe even Tibet gold, but we'll see once we actually swatch it. So let's open this. Okay, so they have a little snap that they attach to. So here's what the bottoms look like. And it just snaps onto this circle. So that's actually, I think, really cool because that means it's customizable. I can take these out, I can put them in any order I want. If I run out of one color, I can buy just the pan of that color and pop it in here. Or I can take all of these out, save the case, and make my own custom palette. So I actually really like that setup. I've never seen that before for these, so that's cool.
Let's activate them. It says to drop water in them. I usually spray.
I mean,
what do we think? Should I go get a dropper, or would spraying them be okay? I think we can just spray them. Let's just spray them.
All right, we're gonna let those hang out. It said 3 minutes.
What do we do for 3 minutes? I do want to do a salt test with these and see if they react to any of my salts, unlike the acrylic inks, but much like my watercolors. So we'll see. 3 minutes seems like a long time to let it sit. I feel like in 3 minutes, they're gonna just soak up the water and I'm gonna have to spray them again. I don't know. They're very pretty. I'm very excited to use them. All right, I think that's been enough time. You know what? I actually want to use this brush. I'm gonna spray them just a little bit more. So we are going in order.
So we are starting with Tibet Gold. Oh, here, I don't know if you guys want to actually... Ooh, okay. I really like it. Oh, look at how cool that looks on camera.
Hold on. I think it would be even better if the brush was wet. I'm gonna go get some water.
Oh, look at that. So without the brush being wet, with a dry brush, it goes on so smooth. And then wet, I mean, you can really just move it around and it's so pretty. I prefer the color when the brush was dry, but it was really...
It wasn't as smooth. But I really like it.
Oh my gosh. Look at the Inca gold. Oh my gosh. It's like copper. I mean, can you guys see on camera how they just glitter?
I can't even describe it. Literally looks like magic. The way they just... That is... I could just watch that all day.
So as it's drying, you can see some brush strokes in it. Let me see. Can you really see that on camera? You can see some brush strokes, but I think you could probably layer on top of that and cover it pretty well. I mean, that's pretty similar to just any watercolor in general. All right, I kind of want the brush to be a little bit more dry than it is because I really liked how that looked. Yeah, when it's dry like that, I mean, wow. You don't get that same glittering effect as it separates when you're painting on with a drier brush, but that is just... so cool. So right now, I can't really tell the difference between the Tibet gold and the Arabic gold. They seem very similar. Okay, what's this one? Gold pearl. Let's do it right here so you guys can see. I don't know if the camera really picks it up, what it's doing. It is just the coolest thing. Okay, so gold pearl.
Oh, okay, as it dries, I see the difference between Arabic gold and Tibet gold. Tibet gold is much closer to my acrylic. Arabic gold has a nice yellow to it. On the camera right now, they all look the same, but I'll try to get a better angle in a second.
Okay, moon gold. I don't even know what color I would describe this one as. It's very pretty though. It's very subtle. Not quite a rose gold,
Maybe a champagne? Yeah, I would say a champagne is the closest to this.
My water has never looked prettier. All right, I don't want to mix any of the golds with the silver. Sterling silver.
Fun fact, I'm allergic to actual sterling silver.
All right, so I don't think we're gonna see this one very well on this paper, which would be a big difference from my silver acrylic ink. This one is a very soft silver. I would even describe it more as like a pearlescent than a silver. It's very pretty, but it's not meant for regular paper.
We'll give those some time to dry. I'm a little tired today. It's getting close to my bedtime. But since I already had makeup on from filming the Easter egg video, I was like, I'm gonna film 2 videos in one night because I'm not gonna waste a face of makeup. So yeah, but now I'm tired. Okay, yeah, as they're drying, you can see the difference in the colors.
So far, the Tibet Gold and the Gold Pearl are actually the most similar in color.
I maybe want to do another test of those 2 just to see
the difference, because I really don't see it right now. I will say the consistency is hard to get the hang of. They're a little runny. But they dry pretty smoothly. No, I would say maybe even the Moon Gold is kind of splotchy.
I know they're watercolors, so like you expect them to be kind of runny, but my watercolors are pretty easy to control. These ones aren't as easy. It seems like they would maybe take a little bit more practice.
To figure out how much water you want on the brush, how much paint you need. It seems like, and like you see how I keep having to do that, like stippling. It seems like you would need a lot of that to kind of fill it out. But I think this is one of those, it's kind of a new medium. You would think because they're watercolors, I already paint with watercolors, I should be good. But I think these are their own, kind of their own category. And these are mostly meant for detailing, I would say, so you maybe wouldn't be
using them in big swatches like this. So it maybe wouldn't be an issue. But they definitely could be used to, like, if you wanted to do like a whole background in gold tones, you absolutely could with these. They are very spreadable. They're just, I would say they're thinner. They're thinner than my usual watercolors. And like they're made with, I believe, mica. So I think it's the mica that's making them. It kind of wants to pool to itself. So it's hard to get a consistent spread, but I think with practice, that really won't be an issue. Even some of my Paul Rubens kind of spread, and you get a little bit more concentrated color on the edges. And I think these are kind of similar to that in that they're gonna pool if your paper isn't flat. I didn't tape this down. I didn't think I would need to, but now I know. Make sure your paper is flat and taped down if you're gonna use these, because they will move with gravity a lot easier than some of my other paints do. But I'm not mad at it. Not gonna complain about that. Not a big deal.
Look at the way look at that shine. That is just, that's very cool.
Definitely think I'll be incorporating these, especially now that they're drying and I can see what they're doing.
The, there we go, let me turn that a little bit better. The sterling silver, actually it's very opalescent, but it's really pretty, and I can definitely see
how that would look good for stars and other silver detailing that I might use. I actually have a couple of paintings that I'm working on that are really like moon heavy, and I think that this would look way better than my silver acrylic ink. So I definitely will be using this color coming up soon, so you'll see that.
These two in the middle, which ones are those? The Moon Gold and the Inca Gold are
so different than any of the gold that I've used previously in the acrylic inks. they're really cool colors, and I never have thought to use that color palette before, and now seeing them, I'm really excited to use them. Like the Inca Gold is so brassy, and that's gonna look so cool for like armor or even just some gold detailing that just, if I want like a warmer punch. I mean, that I really like that color. And same as the Moon Gold, it's just champagne. It's so nice. So it's kind of like a cooler gold. I think it would complement the silver very well.
They look really nice next to each other. I'm waiting for these two bottom pieces to dry, and then I'll be able to show off the page a little bit better. And then we'll have to just compare the three that are the closest to like your standard gold. I really can't see too much of a difference in them, other than the Arabic gold is definitely yellow.
Not in a bad way though. It's definitely like yellow gold, which is good. I like yellow gold.
Yeah, the gold pearl and the Tibet gold, I really don't see much of a difference in them. We'll have to see once they dry.
And then once they dry, we're gonna do some salt tests. I'll definitely continue to review these as I go and as I use them. And I'm gonna make sure to use every single color at some point, so you'll get a chance to see each one in an illustration. I know I haven't done a time-lapse video in a while. I kind of did it with the burnout, but it wasn't your typical time-lapse video. But when I do use these, I'll be sure to do a voiceover throughout the time-lapse explaining my experiences with these, and if I like it, if I didn't like it, what hurdles I had to come across, etc., etc. I will go into detail about each specific color as I use it in each video. Oh, well, so here's a comparison while we're here.
So this painting has silver acrylic ink on it, as you can see there. And it's just...
So there's the silver acrylic ink. It's definitely much more your classic silver than the sterling silver that we have here. Which again, I wouldn't describe it as silver. I would call it pearlescent. So I think as far as an actual silver goes, I think I'll keep the acrylic ink for now. But the gold, these are better contenders. Let's see, do I have a painting here with gold in it? Oh, kinda.
So this one, that's my gold acrylic ink, and it's very similar to the Arabic gold.
But I can't think of a situation where I would go out of my way to open the acrylic inks and use those when I already have these. Especially because they're pretty much the same opaqueness for the most part. These are a little more watered down, not watered down, that's the wrong word. These are a little thinner than the acrylic ink, but not by much, not enough that it bothers me. It might bother somebody else. I could definitely see somebody preferring just how thick and easy it is to lay the acrylic inks for smaller details, because you won't have to really do touch-ups. These you might have to touch up a little bit to really get that pop of color. But as far as like spreading them over a big chunk of your illustration, I think they're pretty similar. I actually feel like these will layer better than the acrylic inks now that I'm really thinking about it, because you can reactivate these and kind of move them around as needed. Once the acrylic ink is on there, all you can do is build on top of it like acrylic paint. You can't really move it to make it more consistent. These I think you'd be able to, because they're watercolors.
All right, this is pretty much dry.
It's a sketchbook, so I don't really care if I get gold on any other pages.
You
know what? For funsies, let's put some gold detailing on this illustration right here.
Let's give the Tibet gold a little bit more time to shine. Okay, now that I'm painting smaller,
way easier to control than the acrylic inks. Yeah, usually if I have to do something this small, I just break out my metallic gel pens because of the fine point. It's really hard for me to get a fine point with the acrylic ink because it globs. This, totally smooth.
So there we go. Now my decision is final. I like these way better. Yeah. Let's see. So you can't really see on camera. Look at that. Oh. You see that shine? Nice. And I actually think, yeah.
These actually dry very quickly because you can spread them on so thin. So actually forget everything I said about the acrylic inks drying better. These dry better because you can do it thin if you need to, and reduce the drying time. All right, let's test some salt. We're only gonna test 2 salts because as you saw from my salt video, some salts are good, some salts are not. There's no need for me to go through all of them. I actually stopped using the table salt since that video came out. The ground sea salt just worked so much better for me. So I totally got rid of table salt. The Himalayan rock salt didn't react well, and my kosher salt is old. So all we're gonna be testing is the coarse sea salt and the ground sea salt, so we can get those 2 main patterns that I use in my paintings.
We've got our salt. Let's really get color on here. Now, I don't know how well these will react because of how thin they are, but you never know. You see what I mean about, like, you kind of have to stipple it to get it to pool nicely and spread. That's really my only complaint. That one's reacting. This one, not so much, but that's okay. And it is kind of hard to get a lot of color on the brush. So this one is very cool. This is the Arabic gold that when you're painting with it, it looks very dark. Like, it looks very similar to the Tibet gold, and then once it dries is really when you see, like, the difference. All right. Now, in Tibet's gold's defense, we might not have had enough of the actual paint on the brush. So if it doesn't react and all the other ones do, then we'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Because it looks like so far they're all reacting except for that one. So I think there just wasn't enough paint on my brush. Especially if the gold pearl reacts, because I'm pretty sure they're the same color. Let me just really, because it's so light. Oops. I gave that one a little bit more of a sprinkle than I wanted to, but that's okay. More chance to see the pattern. Can you just see how it glistens and twinkles as it's settling. I've just never seen paint do that. But I haven't really used metallics before in watercolors, so maybe that's normal. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's normal. I'm sure it's not abnormal, but it's very cool nonetheless. I think this color, the moon gold, lays the most consistently. I think it's the easiest to work with, and I actually think it's probably going to end up being my favorite. Now this one, the silver, it might be really hard to see if it does react because it's not meant for this kind of paper. This paper is too bright for it, so not sure how much that we'll actually see. But we'll give it a shot.
All right, we're gonna let those dry. All right, same thing with the grinder. So we're gonna put our color down, we're gonna grind some salt on top of it and see what we get.
We'll try to be nicer to the Tibet Gold this time. Oops.
I'm painting way farther away than I normally would because I have the way the camera is set up. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Ooh. Ooh, that came out nice. I really like this one too. So yeah, I think Inca Gold and Moon Gold are my favorites. If you can hear background shuffling, it's O'Malley. I'm getting into things.
Oh. Oh no. My phone's about to die.
This video was only supposed to take like 30 minutes, but now we're coming up on an hour. So I didn't have enough battery on my phone. But we could still film with this camera angle. All right, what color were we on? Gold Pearl. And there's sirens outside now too. I really want to get a lot of color on this one because I feel like it's a really thin color. So we're getting less reactions so far with the ground sea salt versus the coarse sea salt. And I think that's just because the ground sea salt is smaller, it's like finer pieces. And because the mica is already kind of separating itself when it like pools and moves around in the water, I don't think there's really much for the salt to do. But with the bigger chunks, there's more salt in a concentrated area, easier for it to push the color around. But I'm not a chemist. I don't know. I'm just making all that up. So who knows? I could be completely wrong. But I guess at the end of the day, as artists, we don't need to know why something does something. We just need to learn what it does and how to work with it and how to use it in our projects. But sometimes it's nice to know why something is that way, because then you can predict it better. But oh well. Can't always have all the answers. There we go. All right. There are our salt tests. We'll let that do anything that it's gonna do. And then we'll come back.
Hello. Okay, I hope my appearance isn't a jump scare. Cause you know, a minute ago was last night and I was all glammed up, and today is the next day. And I look meh. I just got home from work. So, I let everything sit overnight since my phone had died anyways. I figured let's just give everything a chance to dry. We'll give the salt a chance to do whatever it was gonna do, and then we'll come back, and I wanted to really film it on natural light. So I'm in front of a window right now. I have none of my lights, nothing is on. We're just going off the window. It's a little cloudy, so it's kind of an overcast day. It's, I would say, pretty much like indirect sunlight. But that's what we have to work with today. So I kind of wanted to see a difference between artificial light versus natural light. So let's take a peek. So we have our swatches here, and I will say they're very splotchy. But that's okay. I mean, it depends on what angle you look at them from. See that? Like, you can see the splotchy depending on how I angle it. But I think that's just watercolors. You only really notice the difference on these so much because they're iridescent. If they didn't have that iridescence to them, I don't think we would really care that they're splotchy. But I'm pretty sure, like any watercolor, you should probably be able to just layer on top of them and build up so it's less splotchy. But yeah, so like from this angle, it looks terrible. And then the moment you catch the light, you don't even notice how splotchy it is. Focus camera, there we go. So it absolutely depends. So yeah, let's take a look at the colors themselves. I almost wonder if you were to put artificial light on this, let's see. Does the splotchiness go away? No, it doesn't. Okay, well that answered that. Yep, so let's look at the actual colors themselves. So even after they dried, I still can't tell the difference between Tibet Gold and Gold Pearl. That would be these two. They're pretty much the same, and same down here. This is the Tibet Gold, this is the Gold Pearl. They're basically the same color. I'm really struggling to see a difference at any angle. If one is more yellow than the other, or if one has brassier tones. I would honestly say the only difference is that Tibet Gold, this one up here, lays down more thickly, while the Gold Pearl is just a little thinner. So you would have to build that up more than this one to get the same consistent color. But other than that, I'm pretty positive they're the same. So if you, like I had said yesterday, you could take the case and you can, you know, snap them out and put new ones in. So if you even wanted to build your own set and just buy one of those colors, like pick the one that you are leaning towards the most, and then just replace the other one with a different color from a different set, I would absolutely do that to build your own palette. I don't see the use for having both of these in one palette. They're basically, honestly, exactly the same, and I really tried to give them a shot to show the difference.
Seeing them dry, you definitely see more of the sterling silver than I thought you were going to. So that's good. It definitely does build up more of that silver color.
Still not as silver as the acrylic ink. But that's honestly just nitpicky because this is a very good silver.
The moon gold I think is still my favorite. It is the most splotchy, depending on what angle you look at it. But right there, I mean, looking at all of them at the right angle, it's my favorite.
It's my favorite of the bunch. My second favorite
is the moon gold, that brassy copper one. Arabic gold is very yellow compared to the other ones, but that's not, I don't mean that in a bad way. Just look at that. It's just yellow. It's yellow gold. So I do think I'll use that one a lot. And then these two are also a very nice classic gold. They're just the same. So let's see how they held up with our salt test. Here we go. So on this page, how did we do it? We did it this way. Yeah, I forgot what order they were in for a second. Oh, okay, so here's the thing. Once you put the salt on, it's harder to catch the light and make them look less splotchy. But did they react to the salt? That is the real question. And kind of. I will say kind of. Let's see if I can get some close-ups in there. So we didn't get super distinct patterns like we usually do with the regular watercolors, but we did get some patterns in there. So you can see little bits of salt. Still, you know, you can see the outlines of some salt there. Let's see if I can get that angle. That's a better angle where it kind of comes out kind of like leopard spotty. Not sure when you would use that pattern. There's the good angle. So you kind of have to catch the right light to see the salt pattern. So I don't know how useful that would be if you're just going for texture. But I guess that's at your own discretion. But look at how sparkly they are. Oh, and that's another thing. They do scratch. So wiping the salt off, the salt scratched some of the paint. Regular watercolor doesn't usually do that. So I wouldn't really mix these with salt in my own personal use. Okay, so here's the difference. The gold pearl reacts to salt more than Tibet gold. Let's see if that is the same for the other salts. Yep, so there's the difference. Other than them being the same color, the gold pearl is more reactive to salt than Tibet gold. So if you're picking your colors based on that, there's your reason for picking one or the other, but they don't give enough of a reaction for it to really matter to me. So there you can see some of the patterns. The coarse sea salt definitely gave more immediate pattern than the ground sea salt. So if you do like the texture, I would go with coarse sea salt. and I actually had less scraping problems with this one than I did with the ground sea salt.
Because these ones, the chunks were so much bigger, it was much easier to get them off without scraping the paint and leaving any kind of drag marks. So of course, sea salt is the way to go with these, but again, I don't see myself really doing that technique with these paints anyways.
I mean, they are definitely shiny, they're definitely sparkly. They're definitely very cool to use, and I'm very excited to use them. I mean, they just sparkle. Let's see if I can get any close-ups of the sparkle. I mean, look at that.
So I would say my final thoughts are, I love these. I'm so excited to use them. I definitely, so far, prefer these to the gold acrylic ink, but so far not so much in comparison to the silver acrylic ink. I think there's still a use for the silver.
But this, I mean, it really is nice. Let me... Okay, you know what? Doing this side by side, so the only difference, I would say, is in direct sunlight, like how you're looking at them now, this is super similar to this.
But out of direct sunlight, this one is still very much identifiable as silver. There you go, in low light. And this one kind of loses that silver to it. Yeah, hold on. Let's do this.
So here are what they both look like in shadow. And you see how that one gets washed out. It looks more white, like snow. And this one still very much has those gray steel tones. Still very silver looking.
So that's the only difference, is in low light, the acrylic ink still very much is silver, while the silver watercolor needs direct light to really get that steel tone to it. Otherwise, it still is very pretty. It's still super pretty, but that's where it becomes that opalescent, more so than silver, in my opinion. Our final comparison will be the sheet we used for the salt reaction test. There we go. The sheet we used for the salt reaction test last week's video.
See the difference between silver. These are a darker gray. This one is just a lighter tone.
So still both very good silver.
Let's see. And then the gold. But you see how these are even streaky and build up on itself?
They're all very similar in that. So I think no matter what, anything that has a metallic in it, you're gonna have to build up to make it smooth and consistent, or you're gonna see the streak marks.
And that's not a deal breaker for me. All right, at first I thought the Arabic gold was the closest to what I use with my acrylic ink, but now seeing the colors side by side, here's the Arabic gold right here. And it's much more yellow toned than what I usually use, which is super interesting. It's a lot closer in color to the Tibet gold or even the Inca gold. So I actually didn't see that coming.
I'm really glad I bought these. I can't wait to start using them. Do you want to come here? Come here. Okay, Tilly wants to be in the video. We don't raise independent pets here. Everybody needs to be in your lap constantly, or having your attention constantly, or cuddling constantly. Anywho, so I'm really glad that I bought these. I can't wait to use them. I definitely see myself using all of them. I wouldn't say there's a color that I'm not gonna use.
But I'm curious to see, as I play around with the Tibet gold and the gold pearl, which one I just end up using more.
Or if they're pretty interchangeable overall. I feel like they're just gonna be pretty interchangeable. I don't see too much of a difference in using them. So yeah, Based on this, I'm really excited to buy more of this brand, just in other colors. They have a ton of different pearlescent palettes. And, but for now, since gold and silver are primarily what I use, that's what I'm sticking with. And I'm super excited to start embellishing things bigger and better on a grander scale and with more bling. So, thank you for watching another video. I know it's not my usual type of video. I don't usually review things, but I thought this was fun. And yeah, oh my gosh. Here comes Aurora. So yes, I can't wait to show you guys what I use in these. And like I said, as I use them, I will point them out in specific posts. As I post paintings on Instagram, I'll point out which of these colors I used, and I'll be sure to give specific details in any time lapses that feature these colors. So thank you for watching. I will see you guys next week for an extra fun video. And I'm sorry the lighting for the end of this video was so crazy, because natural light, this is why I usually don't film during the day. Because it's just hard to get consistency with the clouds rolling by and everything. And usually I'm my most productive at night. So again, thank you for watching. I will see you guys next week, and I'm super excited to create art with this. And let me know if there's anything else that you guys think I would like, that you'd like to see me try. Right now I'm super broke, but when I have the finances to buy more art supplies, I will definitely be trying some new things based on your recommendations. All right, Tilly, say bye. Oh my gosh, O'Malley's here. See, they all need to be here. All right, we're gonna go all hang out and eat some dinner. Bye.